Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the vlog. This is a very special vlog because it is the 48-hour Bookopoly-thon. Words can't come to me apparently, but it is the 48-hour Bookopoly-thon reading vlog where in this vlog I will be participating in Bookopoly-thon. So first let's just go with what the two original prompt roles are and what I'm reading for those. So the first one is under 300 pages, which I will be reading Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman, which it is a novella, so it's only about, I don't even know how many pages it is. I know the audiobook is like an hour long, but I think it's like 100 pages. And this, we follow the characters Nick and Charlie, who are from the Heartstopper graphic novels, which is one of my favorite series of all time. And it is just kind of them at some point. I don't know anything about it except it features Nick and Charlie, and I'm like, that's all I need to know. Or better yet, it's Alice Oseman. That's all I need to know. So I'll be listening to that first. And then for the prompt Gods, I will be reading the first volume of Lore Olympus by, I'm brain farting on the author, so let me just quickly pull that up. By Rachel Smith. I do not own the physical copy, but I will be reading them on Webtoons. So whatever Google tells me is the first volume of like the bind up, then that's what I'll read. I think it's the first 25 Webtoons installments, but I could be totally wrong. So those are like the two books I'm tired. The two books that are my main priority. I will update after each book, and then also just in general, I'm just kind of like, this vlog is just gonna kind of be like whatever I'm vibing with, that's what's gonna happen. I've been horrible at vlogging lately, so I'm kind of really hoping that having this like 48-hour vlog will like make me want to vlog a bit more consistent as well. All this footage has to happen in 48 hours. And technically this starts at 12 a.m. on the 21st British summertime, but I am in technically Central Standard Time, but where I live we don't do like time over, so technically I'm currently in Mountain Time. It's a weird thing. It's 5 o'clock when this thing starts. We'll put it that way. It's 5 o'clock on Friday when it starts, so we don't have to figure out time zones. So this runs 5 p.m. Friday to 5 p.m. Sunday for me. So yeah, I literally I just woke up from a nap like half an hour ago because your girl needed a nap. Totally unrelated to the readathon, but I just needed a nap. I am quite tired, so I'm hoping to get those two books that I already talked about done before I go to bed, so that when the fresh roll drops hit at 5 a.m., I'm not waking up for that early. It'll be whenever I wake up and see the roll drops. But yeah, I'll try to have these finished by then. I will just keep you updated. I'm just rambling at this point. So yeah, I will update you in a little bit. So I finished my first book for Bookopoly-thon, which was Nick and Charlie. Oh, I will always have the book that I'm referring to popped up on screen, or but I'm giving this 5 stars, even though it is like it was emotionally draining. It was also just beautiful because like you literally are just seeing Nick and Charlie go through kind of a rough patch in their relationship, and because like Nick's going off to university and Charlie is still in school, and so like it's gonna be their first year away from each other, and it's brutal to read because you just I can't even put into words what I'm feeling. But I'm so happy that I read this book. I'm so happy that I finished. I finished a book within the first set of sprints, because obviously it's all live, so first chunk of sprints. So now I have to add this to my spreadsheet, Goodreads. I need to update a few friends because this is a buddy read. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I will probably here in a little bit start Lore Olympus. I looked over there because I'm going to be reading it on my iPad, and the iPad's like, you can't see it, it's on the bed behind me. But yeah, one book down, however many books to go for this weekend, and yeah. So it is 1:20 a.m. on Saturday right now, and I haven't read anything really since the last update. Since then, me and my friend Morgan, we were literally just hanging out backstage on StreamYard, and many different topics got brought up. The most funny and notable is apparently pillow fighting is considered a professional sport. That is one thing I learned tonight, that now I'm like, how did that happen? But that is a whole side thing. I did also technically read the first episode of Lore Olympus, which that I don't know that much about. That's a theme so far, is I don't know much about the books that I'm reading. Essentially, it is a Hades and Persephone retelling told in like a current times, almost, like in a modern setting. It's a graphic novel. That's basically all I know. That is all I want to know, really. And I will say, based on the first episode, I do like the art style. I was at first very nervous, but it actually seems to like work, which I'm happy about. But since it's very late, I'm going to crawl into bed. I might read a little bit more of Lore Olympus, but I cannot make any promises whatsoever because I might get distracted by TikTok. That is actually probably more than likely gonna happen. Oops. But I will see you sometime in the morning. The next time I see you, I'm fairly certain the next roll drops will have happened, so I guess we will see what those are. Okay, so it is about 10:50 on Saturday, and I haven't read any more of Lore Olympus, but I'm going to be doing that right away here because my friend Sam from Yarn Reader is doing sprints, and I'm going to be joining. So hopefully I'll get that. I don't know how long we'll be sprinting, but hopefully we'll get those finished in the sprints. And then also the second set of roll drops happened. So roll number 3 was ebook/audiobook, which I'm not specifically setting which book I want to read for that yet. Probably will just use Nick and Charlie, as I literally read it ebook and audiobook. So like it definitely counts. And then the other prompt was color on the cover, and I'm leaning towards the Steel Prince by V.E. Schwab. I believe that's the title, and that is the first book in the Shades of Magic graphic novel series, which I've been meaning to read for a while, and so steel is a color, so, or at least I believe it is a color. It's a color in my book, therefore we're counting it. Or there might be a couple others that I haven't fully picked one, but that's what I'm leaning towards because it's short and I've been meaning to read it, and it's available on Hoopla, so like I don't need to worry about, like, I know I have access to it, but I'm going to do all that, and I will see you hopefully when I have Lore Olympus finished. Okay, so I have to be a little bit quick because I have a minute and 30 seconds on the sprint. But I finished Lore Olympus Volume 1, and I gave it 4 stars. It is really fun and interesting. I love the art style. I will be 100% continuing to read it on Webtoons. I just don't know exactly when. I might try to maybe like just slowly read like an episode or 2 every day or something. I'm not entirely sure. And then I will be reading The Steel Prince by V.E. Schwab, which is the first graphic novel in the is it the Shades of Magic? That is the main series, but is it actually called that same thing? I'm not sure. I have the cover some side here. And it's a prequel to the Shades of Magic series. And so we're following, I can't remember the name, but it's like the king from the main series. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, and that's basically all I know. It's like 100 some pages, so it'll be really quick to read. And we have a latte deciding to say hi. So yeah, that's what I will be doing, and I will let you know what I'm going to be reading after that, because the prompts haven't dropped. The next set of prompts drops in about 3 hours, so yeah, I'll probably have this finished by then, and like I'll have the steel prints finished by then, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we're gonna just apologize me looking like a hot mess, kind of. I'm always a hot mess. But I finished these steel prints. It is 4:51, so just in time for the next roll drop. And I'm giving it 3 stars because, and so while I did like this, I feel like it didn't add anything to the world. I gave it 3 stars. I'm pretty sure I already said that. I'm basically forgetting what I'm saying as I'm saying it at this point. But it was good. 3 stars. Didn't add anything to the plot. Didn't add anything to the characters that we know that are in, like, I'll say, like, the original series, because, like, well, the Shades of Magic, like, novels are what came first. But I still do plan on continuing with it's a graphic novel comic series. I think it's technically a comic series. But mainly because there's only 2 more, like, bind-ups, basically, which each are, like, 100 pages. So I will read them at some point, because I loved the original, like, Shades of Magic novels, and I really want to own copies and reread them soon. So I feel like this is almost like, by reading this, it's making me want to reread those more, which I'm very thankful for. But I will wait until the next roll drop happens, pick my books, and then update you. Okay, so it's the first sprint for Gavin's Slumber Party, which is what the next roll drop was. And so for the 2 prompts, the first one, well, let's go in. Gavin put them in the wrong order, but roll number 5 for overall Bookopoly-thon was Young Adult, and for that I am going to finish The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I have the final story, which is The Assassin and the Empire, which is about 100-ish pages, I think. Yeah, it's not quite 100 pages, so I'm gonna count this. And then for the next prompt, which was Spooky, I'm not 100% certain on this, but my friend Sam, I've already mentioned her, suggested Lock and Key Volume 1, and it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I mean, I could easily read it. So I might read that. I might pick something else. It probably depends on how quickly it takes me to read this, which is upside down, and then also just how I'm feeling tiredness-wise, because a graphic novel would take me a little bit, but then I'm also like, do I really want to read another graphic novel? Apparently this is one thing that you end up doing when you join Gavin's Slumber Party, is ending up with a face mask. This is a, like, mud face mask. I couldn't tell you what the brand is off the top of my head. It was just something I bought from Walmart, so it's also uneven, I know, but it works. Okay, so I finished The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I ended up reading, well, I think it was a total of 111 pages for Bookopoly-thon. I cried. I just love this book so much. It stood up to the 5 stars, but it's like a low 5 stars of like, it could have been lower, but I think my attachment to it is what keeps it at that 5. So yeah. And then I will be, for the spooky prompt, reading Lock and Key Volume 1, Welcome to Lovecraft, which I'm just going to read the Goodreads description because it doesn't give much information, and this is literally all I know about it, is Lock and Key tells of Key House, an unlikely New England mansion with fantastic doors that transform all who dare to walk through them. Home to a hate-filled and relentless creature that will not rest until it forces open the most terrible door of them all. And I believe if it sticks similar to what the TV show Lock and Key does, which I've watched the first season, technically the first season and then the first episode of season 2, but I had the flu when I watched that, so I don't remember anything from it. And I do need to continue with season 2, but if I'm guessing it will follow a similar thing where we follow the Locke family that moves back, like they move to this mansion that has been in the family, and then everything kind of happens. That's at least what the show's about. I'm assuming the graphic novel would be the same because obviously the show is kind of like loosely based on the graphic novels, and I'm excited to see the differences. So I will be reading that. I don't know if I'll be starting it now or later or tomorrow. I don't really know. I'm tired if you cannot tell. So yeah, I will either see you later with an update on Lock and Key or tomorrow morning with the next 2 roll drops. I don't really know. Okay, so it is 1:17 on Sunday, and I finished Lock and Key Welcome to Lovecraft, which is the first volume, and I'm giving it 3 stars. It was good, but I feel like going into it, I was like, it's going to be a horror graphic novel. I didn't get that vibe at all. I'm still counting it for the spooky prompt because there was some things that were kind of like a little bit like, ooh. And I was telling my friends Sam and Morgan that I was like, the scariest thing about the book is the cover. So yeah. And then we had roll 7 and 8. So for roll 7, I will be reading The Lion of the Sea by Michelle and Reichman. I am already 43% into this, as I started it at the beginning of May and just never continued on with it, but I was liking it. And this is the second book in the Maidenship series, which the first book is The Maidenship, where I follow, essentially in The Maidenship, we follow Dane Alloway, who is, like, his father owns the ship The Maiden, and they have just been traveling, and Dane ends up discovering magic that hasn't existed for, or supposedly hasn't existed for the last 200 years, and things like that unfold, and this is obviously the second book, so I can't really explain what it is about, but I'm really hoping to get it finished. I have just a little bit over 3 hours, as at 4:30 I have to leave to go do something, and obviously the readathon ends at 5 for me, so I'm fingers crossed that I can get this done, as it's only about 250 pages and I'm already almost halfway through, so I do feel like that might be doable. It's just, I don't know. It could be doable, it might not be doable. So yeah, that's a little bit of the update. Actually, and then I forgot to say the 8th roll. The 8th roll was feed scroll, which basically you have to pick a social media, scroll through, read the first book that you see. I'm not doing that because I know that I will not have the time to read anything but what I've already mentioned, and I'm okay with not fulfilling one prompt. If I finish The Lion of the Sea, I will have completed 7 out of the 8 prompts, which is more than happy with me. So yeah. Okay, so it is 4 o'clock on Sunday, obviously. This is when the readathon ends. The readathon ends in an hour. And I'm calling it done because I finished The Lion of the Sea by Michelle and Reichman, and I'm giving it 3 stars because I did enjoy it. It's just, I didn't remember enough from the first one, and just the only reason I'm really sticking with it is because I want to see how it ends, and I love the main couple of Dane and Sable. That's it. That is the only reason why I'm continuing. I do actually have an arc of the 3rd book, The Rightful Bearer, which I might be reading later this week, I'm not sure. Overall, let's just go through a little wrap-up of the weekend, and yeah, so I Total books finished were 6. My goal was about 4. I was like, if I get 3 to 4, I'm more than fine. So I read 6 books. 2 were started prior to the readathon, but I was also going to count prior to readathons in that 3 or 4. Total pages read 1,033 pages. When I did the math, I was like, I'm sorry, no, that doesn't sound right, but it is. And total prompts completed 7. The only prompt that I did not finish was the feed scroll, and then, because double up is allowing, there was a double up. I've already talked about those. So quickly going through, a recap is for rule number 1, under 300 pages, Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman. Rule number 2, Gods, Lore Olympus by Rachel Smith. Rule number 3, ebook or audiobook, Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman. Rule number 4, color in the title, The Steel Prince by V.E. Schwab. Rule number 5, young adult, The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas, the last 111 pages. Rule number 6, Spooky, Lock and Key, Volume 1, Welcome to Lovecraft. Rule number 7, Water on the Cover, The Lion of the Sea by Michelle and Reichman. And rule number 8, absolutely nothing. I'm really happy that I participated in this readathon. I'm really happy that I participated in this readathon, and I honestly should have said this in the beginning, but I definitely thank Becca for doing this, as it was so much fun, and I love these rounds every single time. I've participated in every single round. I still remember the first round. I was babysitting, and my cousin was trying to drool on my book. He was 10 months old at the time. And I still have that vivid memory of that, of being like, I have to finish this book so I can move on to the next book for the prompts. And I always have so much fun. This year I was, joined by my friends, Morgan and Sam, Morgan from Morgan's Bookshelves, Sam from Yarn Reader, and then a new friend that I met, Kim from Whimsical Narratives. We all kind of throughout the weekend were doing, we were on StreamYard together watching the sprints, so honestly, I probably wouldn't have had as much fun if it wasn't for those 3, and I will leave them linked below, as they are wonderful people, and you should definitely check them out. But yeah, I think I'm going to end this here because, well, I'm done the readathon. I'm calling myself done. So I really hope you enjoyed this vlog, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say, so bye!